Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. Myself and Pobelt are just reminiscing about awesome moments in our lifetime, but we need to talk about the win that just happened for you guys, tying you now in third place with Team Solo Mid and Team Impulse. I do want to pick your brain a little bit. We spoke about, or we showed the video where you kind of had a bit talking about, with humor, the problems that CLG faces throughout a split. Now being on the team, seeing that through your eyes, what were kind of the troublesome times that CLG went through? What leads to these falls in the split for CLG?
To be honest, it's still my first split on CLG, so I wasn't around for all like the previous splits where, you know, CLG kind of became notorious for kind of falling apart in the middle of the season. But we did have that 0-4 streak, but it didn't really feel like we were falling apart. Those were all against like pretty much the top 4 teams, and basically we just learned a lot. So it feels like we're making really good progress in improving. We haven't gotten overconfident in ourselves, or we didn't get overconfident in ourselves after we started 7-1, and I think that's really important.
Well, you've definitely been able to show up from the mid lane this year. How are you feeling about your play? We don't actually get to talk to players about what they're doing very much. What do you feel like you're contributing to the team, and how do you feel you're doing?
I think I'm pretty flexible in how I play. Some other mid laners for other teams tend to have just like one style, like they just won't roam at all, or they only roam. That was what I think would do in the past splits, but basically I just do whatever Tony, our coach, tells me to do. And you know, if that's playing Lulu or playing Orianna and just farming it out, or playing TF and roaming everywhere, I can do it.
Well, your team has already said you bring the damage to the table when they need you there, so it's been working out. Final question for you, Team Liquid coming up next week. That's where you guys start. How are you feeling about that matchup, and just overall, how the rest of the split's going to go?
All our matches in like the next 2 or so weeks, actually there's only 2 weeks left in the split, but yeah, all those matches are really crucial for how placing is going to be for playoffs. So we really just want to win all the matches we can so that we can get first or second by the end of the season, and just get the bye in the playoffs. And traditionally, I don't think CLG's done too well versus Team Liquid, so we'll definitely have some heavy preparation to do.
All right, it'll be a tough run. They just gave TSM a run for their money. Belter, congratulations on the win, and best of luck in the rest of your games. We're going to throw it over to the analyst desk to break down the rest of the day.
Thank you, Riv. 40-minute victory there for CLG. Wasn't crazy clean. They did get the 2-0.
It was crazy.
It was crazy. Yeah. Not clean. They did get the 2-0 this week, which I think is very important for them from a morale standpoint, coming off of a string of losses there. We were, you know, the whole CLG downward spiral had been tossed around. They may be avoiding it this time around.
Or embracing it.
Or embracing
and coming out the other side. They've gone through it, and now they're coming back up. They've gone through the swing. As Pobelta said, you know, they didn't get overconfident. They all still feel like a team that's ready to make a strong push in playoffs.
Yeah, and I think they're ready to make a strong push through the end of the regular season. As Pobelta said there, like, we can say the CLG was having a collapse, but they were losing to all the best teams, and now they're going to be playing all the teams below them in the standings. That's what they did this week. They played Enemy and TDK. Liquid's the only other top team they have to play from here on out. Everyone else is below the top 5 for the next 4 games. So it's very realistic that they go at least 3-1 from here on out and end the season with 12 wins.
Yeah, I do think a lot of that comes from the fact that they dropped from 1st to 5th, right? So standings-wise, there's a lot of,
felt
you know,
really
it did, yeah, exactly. There was a huge deviation there, but based on their play today, it makes me wonder whether or not they're really there still yet to compete with those top teams that they had lost to before. If their plan is to make it to playoffs and go up against these top-tier teams that have been giving them trouble, when they're struggling as much as they are against the 10th place team here, you know, where are they going to fall?
There's definitely some work to do. You could be cautiously optimistic if you're a CLG fan, because the collapse didn't fully happen, and they're on the road to recovery. The difference in their champion select is encouraging. Doublelift's laning phase is encouraging.
I think the default state for all CLG fans is cautiously optimistic at all times.
Is that what Golden Age was about?
That's what potential is.
That was uncautiously optimistic, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, there was no caution there.
Yeah.
And then we have to swing over to the other side of the rift real quickly and look at TDK because, you know, unfortunately for them, their season is basically in salvage mode at this point. You know, can they scrape together a few wins here before the end and maybe slide up into that 9th place? It's going to take a lot of work for them to do that. I mean, I think we continue to go back to this idea of they've got a lot of fight in them, and we see it game to game to game to game. There's many points in the game that we're saying to ourselves, they might be able to win off this. They're getting them. They're fighting their way back into it. is that enough?
Especially with Team 8 and Cloud9 both taking wins and, actually moving up the standings now, they've got to be really scared. And they've got to be aiming probably for enemy and try and drag them down.
Yeah, they have to win at least.
They got to grab somebody that's close to them to bring them down.
Have to win at least 3 of 4.
Yeah.
And so that means, and they don't even get to play enemy. So enemy has to lose on their own accord. Other than that, it's a struggle. We thought we were going to see the miracle season. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's not looking so miracle-y right now.
All right, well.
No miracle-y.
Do you believe in miracles? Nah.
Nah.